Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Finnish Nations United series right here on NHL 19. The Espoo Eagles are in the conference final for the very first time. It's been a relatively impressive run thus far as we have made our way past not only the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the Ottawa Senators, both series ending in just 5 games. And now, standing in our way of a first-time Stanley Cup Finals appearance, the Philadelphia Flyers, the 49-win Flyers. The good thing is, I have confidence in this team. I think a lot of you guys do as well. It's been an interesting road to get here, but the results right now speak for themselves. And there's no doubt that the roster turnover will continue as we continue to go on through each season, especially if we were to end up dropping the loyalty factor that I know a lot of people have discussed, and I think we'll talk about that more again at the end of the season, because of course if we do have the ability to say, oh, let's move on from Teuvo Teravainen rather than just playing him on the third line, that drastically alters what we can look to do. But you factor in the additions of Thomas Hikola, Markus Nutivaara, and of course, the biggest addition from this past season, the acquisition of the top goaltender in the league, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. It's no real surprise that we have made it this far, although maybe it is with the way RNG can go in this game. That said, there's not a whole hell of a lot else to say other than at least about our team. The only other thing to really do here is to take a look at what we're up against in the form of the Philadelphia Flyers. And my first question is whether or not they have any injuries, and they do not. Healthy scratches, Zach Hyman and Pascal Laberge. So what you see is what you get. This is the offense for them. We start off with 29-year-old Travis Konechny, who is a point-a-game player thus far this postseason. Nolan Patrick, who has turned into a legitimate number 1 center. And Marco Kapanen, a rare Finn not on our team. 85 overall, was the 6th overall pick in 2019. Could be an interesting option down the road, I suppose. Good for 50 to 60 points. At least he has been over the past 4 seasons. Pretty good top line, although only one real superstar, will say. Second line, we start off with Kevin Labanc, who has struggled tremendously this postseason. Sean Couturier, who's 33 years old, has 3 assists. And Voracek, who's 36 years old, but has 5 points in 9 games. Third line, Anders Lee, 5 points. Not too bad for the 35-year-old, centered by German Rubtsov at 27 years old. And Wade Allison, 5 goals in 9 games for the third liner. We go to the fourth line, Shane Bowers, Philip Deneau, and Joey Anderson round out that squad. Defensively, it's fairly well-rounded, but nothing overly outrageous. You have 91 overall Ivan Provorov, 4 points so far this postseason, with Colin Miller on that top pairing. Second pair is Travis Sanheim, who has been tremendous so far this postseason, alongside Calvin DeHaan. Third pairing, Robert Haig and Justin Falk. The goaltender, that's going to be the interesting one. Who is it? It is indeed Carter Hart. They also have Andrei Vasilevsky, of course, because why wouldn't you trade one of them? Oh, the trade logic. I mean, oh boy, here's hoping. Here's hoping it gets smarter over the next few years. Regardless, Carter Hart has been just disgustingly good. A .948 save percentage, 8 wins and 9 appearances. And apparently, I mean, those numbers obviously for Vasilevsky won't be from this postseason. Yeah, 23-24. So he hasn't played in the postseason in a while. He's been a backup to Carter Hart. So it's clear they have a fairly well-rounded offense, fairly well-rounded defense, and a superstar goaltender. You can see why they would have made it to the conference final. It's no real surprise. That said, who wins this Clash of the Titans? That remains to be seen. I don't know if you want to necessarily, at least in terms of goaltenders, it's a Clash of the Titans. Let's do this. Let's get this series underway. It is game 1 in Philadelphia. Can we get off to a good start and take the lead here in the first period? The answer is no. Sean Couturier gets the lone goal at the opening 20 minutes. We had the slight edge in shots, and it didn't mean a damn thing. Second period is scoreless, and I'm now very much concerned over our ability to put a puck past Carter Hart. 25 shots to 15, still down 1-0. Can the offense find a way? That is the question. If Philly gets a second one, and they have a power play chance here, and Travis Konechny scores. Patrick Laine, though, gets it back under 2 minutes later. All right back to where we were. Power play chance for the Eagles. Kasper Bjorkqvist, in what will more than likely be his final season here. He ties this one up. Are we destined for overtime? Yes, we are. It took us nearly 50 minutes. But we finally found a way. Laine and Bjorkqvist to overtime we go. As far as who wins it, your guess is as good as mine. Overtime. Can we complete the comeback? Can we take game 1? We cannot. It's Shane Bowers who scores the winner. Philly avoids disaster. They were outshot 42-24. And unfortunately, Luukkonen was just not up to the challenge. Carter Hart, I mean, he gave up 2 goals in the third period, but he got the job done ultimately. We needed a better performance out of Luukkonen. Game 1 goes to Philly. A very disappointing loss after that comeback effort, as unfortunately that clash of the Titans, round 1, goes to Philly. We're ready for round 2 in the form of game 2. A win is very, very much needed. First period, and we do get the opening goal this time. Samu Louis with the opening goal. Difference this time, Philly leading in shots, nearly doubling us up, but we have the 1-0 lead. Second period, and it's now 2. Mikko Rantanen picking up where he left off in the second round. We're being outshot 24-16, but we have a 2-0 lead heading into the third. We witnessed a 2-0 lead evaporate in game 1. Will the same thing happen here? The Flyers had an early power play chance that went to waste as we are over the halfway point of the period. Can Luukkonen shut things down under 5 minutes remaining? And the answer is yes. Brad Lambert, the insurance goal on the empty netter. Round 2 of this battle goes to one Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. 36 shots, easy for me to say, to 23, 3-0 on the board. The war's still ongoing, but a decisive victory in the first 2 battles of said war. Luukkonen, though, an excellent bounce-back performance. Louis and Lambert with the goals. Honestly surprised Lambert was there over Rantanen, but it is what it is. We are tied at 1 game apiece. Anaheim up 2-0 on Chicago. Worth noting, of course, we'll see who ultimately makes it to the Stanley Cup final out of the West. Rantanen, point-a-game effort thus far. Game 3, the series shifts to Finland. Let's see what happens here. Major moment in this series. Here we go. Will the trend continue as well? Will there be a goal in the first period, and will the team who scores first ultimately end up winning the game? Let's find out. First period, good lord, a little bit more offense than we're accustomed to. Samu Louis does get the first goal. We'll see if it holds up for the winner yet again. Kasper Simon Tyval made it 2-0, but the Flyers do get on the board. Voracek scores 11 shots to 8 in their favor, but we're up 2-1. Second period is scoreless, which is good news for us. We go to the third, outshooting them 27-20 now. Let's see what happens. What goaltender, if either, will break next? Still a 2-1 lead for the Eagles as we approach the halfway point of the third. Will there be another goal? Or will both goaltenders stand tall, which would be fine by me. Still a 2-1 lead. 2-minute warning. The Eagles have taken game 3. Kervinen's empty netter scared me a little bit, But at the end of the day, it was good news. 39 shots to 33, 3-1 on the board as we bounce back from a Game 1 defeat to take the next 2 games and the advantage in this series. Luukkonen outdeals Carter Hart. Simon Tyval, the game-winning goal. Anaheim easily dispatching of Chicago at this point. Not looking like we're on pace for a 2010 rematch, regardless of how this series goes. Rantanen still point per game as we go to Game 4 with a chance to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. All 3 games of this series, the first goal, that team's gone on to win. Let's see what happens here. First period, and it could be more good news for the Eagles. Arturi Lehkonen with the goal, the opening goal and the lone goal of the first period. We were even in shots, but we're not even on the scoreboard. Second period, okay then. Again, a little bit more offense than I think we would have expected. Wade Allison ties the game. Kasper Bjorkqvist restores the lead. A minute and 20 seconds later, Sean Couturier ties the game, only for Tommy Ludman to give us the lead. 32 seconds or so onward. 3-2. I should have said the later, but that's okay. We're up 3-2 heading into the third period of Game 4. Let's see how this goes down. Both goaltenders far from perfect in this game thus far, but we've seen the third period lockdown efforts from both sides in the series. Power play chance for the Flyers goes to waste as we're over the halfway point here in the third period. 6 minutes left, and Patrick Laine makes it a 2-goal lead. The Espoo Eagles are 1 win away. Lemico makes it 5-2. That is your final score. And the Finnish contingent 1 win away from presumably taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the Stanley Cup final. Chicago does take Game 4 to stay alive. 3 unanswered victories for the Eagles. Let's see if we can get the job done. Game 5 back in Philadelphia. Let's see what happens. Is this it? Are we going to the Stanley Cup final for the first time in this series history? First period, and if history is anything to go off of, there is going to be a Game 6 as the Flyers score first. Nolan Patrick 34 seconds in. They outshot us 11-8. Second period, it's a tie game. Brad Lambert, the lone goal of that period. 20 shots to 16, but we're tied at 1 on the board. Trends were meant to be broken. Can we break that trend of the team who scores first wins here in Game 5? Let's do this. Third period, early power play chance goes to waste. Philly ends up with a 5-on-3. Can they take advantage of this extended power play time? They cannot. We're halfway through the third. Another power play chance for the Flyers, and it's Mikko Rantanen who ends up scoring. Under 5 minutes remaining. Can Luukkonen shut the door? Yes, he can. The Eagles are moving on. 3 series victories, all of them in 5 games. We are going to the Stanley Cup final. When you see Philadelphia with that much power play time, only for Rantanen to score the series clinching goal, it catches you off guard just a little bit. Brad Lambert adds the empty net insurance goal with 2 seconds remaining. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen turns it around after Game 1. And from there, we never looked back. Brad Lambert with 2 goals. I want to see what happened, though, in terms of penalties. Look at that ungodly amount of penalty trouble. So a hooking minor on Hikola, a hooking minor on Tyrväinen, a high sticking minor on Simon Tyval. But from there, we score. Rantanen scored at 12:23, so it would have been right around the time Simon Taval's penalty expired. His 7th goal of this postseason, and it is confirmed. Anaheim and Espoo, the Stanley Cup Final, the battle of the Birds, the Ducks, and the Eagles in the Stanley Cup Final. That travel is going to be outrageous in terms of going back to Finland for games 3 and 4. What a run this team has been on. Kaapo Kakko, 9 points in 15 games. You'd like to see him score a few more goals, but at the end of the day, he's getting the job done. Simon Taval, 9 points this postseason. Rantanen with 14. And again, we talked about it before. His regular season success, sure. Even in the postseason, I mean, I can't really blame him. Again, there was a slow start last year, but he was able to turn it around. Ended up with 6 points in 6 games. I mean, Rantanen is everything that we could have hoped that he would have been. We go to the second line. Teuvo Teravainen, 8 points, 10 for Brad Lambert, and 9 for Patrick Laine. Third line, Bjorkqvist, 10 points, 10 for Louis, 14 for Ludman. That third line is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And then the fourth line, I mean, we made some changes, and they have absolutely benefited this team. Juho Lamikko, 4 points and 10 points on the 4 points in 10 games on the fourth line. Rantanen, I mean, he's not expected to put up points, but the physical edge that he brings, it's done something for this team. And then Artturi Lehkonen, 6 points in 15 appearances. Defensively, I think the change to make Hikola and Nudivara the top pairing, it was a wise one. Teravainen and Kurvainen on the second pairing have done very well. And then we have Rantanen and Matti Kuka, who have at least been able to get the job done. And then the main man himself, Luukkonen, a .941 save percentage, 3 losses thus far this postseason. An absolute monster between the pipes. And at the end of the day, we are just one series away. 4 wins from a Stanley Cup. In the next episode, we take on the Anaheim Ducks. This has gone better than I think I ever could have imagined or expected it to do. 4 wins away from a Stanley Cup. I will see you guys then in the next episode, and we'll see how it all goes down. Thank you for watching. You know the deal. Check out everything in the description if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video or I'll threaten you with physical violence like other popular YouTubers. And until next time, or I should have said certainly more popular YouTubers, I wouldn't define myself as popular. That's okay though. I will see you guys next time. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. 4 wins away from a Stanley Cup.